This one is Algebra 1, Semester 1. It's the first unit called Equations. It's the sixth lesson called Multistep Equations. It's on Creator Math under the Algebra 1 tab. You might have to Google creatormath.weebly.com to find it. The instructions are copy the following problems into your composition book on the correct pages according to the table of contents with the notes for those pages from creatormath.com. So the notes can be a little bit hard to find. I'll try to show you how to find that right now if I can. See how my connection's going. Here's the website name. It's creatormath.weebly.com. Type that into Google. You should come to this homepage. Looks like this. You're in the right place if that's what you see. Any questions about the composition book, which is due now, again, you guys, for turn in, scroll down under this picture on the homepage until you see the words composition book. Follow all the directions. Watch all the videos, adhere to all the turn-in dates, and put things where they belong. And as long as you're putting notes on those pages, which we're going to go see notes right now, you should have a 90 to 100% on that composition book. Plus you have the notes to back you up when it comes time to do these problem sets. All right, so I'm going to go to the tab for the video I'm making right now. Here it is here. Under this tab, you'll find vocabulary. There's a vocabulary PDF with every word we use for the whole school year. It is downloadable to your device and searchable by your device. Please Google how do I search a PDF with whatever device you're using. It's slightly different per device. All right. Also, all of the video lessons, the problem sets, and notes are under this tab. All right. So we're going to match it up with the semester we're in for this video. There it is. This is the table of contents. You should have copied every word of this table of contents onto pages 2 through 6 of your composition book. If you haven't done that already, please stop and do that now. Refer back to the videos on the prior page we were just looking at to help you understand how to number your pages and what it looks like when you're done, etc. All right, so now we're going to go to the unit we're talking about. This one is equations right here, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lessons to this. This is lesson number 6 right here. So this particular video we're making is multi-step equations. Here are the page numbers that these notes go on in your comp book. Please don't take this video's word for it, but go back and find the original table of contents. At the time you're viewing this, these page numbers probably will be different. Here are the notes. Here are the problem set we're going to go over now, and the video solutions will be tagged under this video solutions right here when it's done. Here's what the notes look like. Sometimes I have to open this twice to get it to open. Okay, there you go. You're going to copy these notes into the correct pages as we've discussed. Go ahead and start to study. This is what lesson we're on, the 6th lesson, so you should have some skills if you've been going through these in terms of equation solving procedures. Do what is easiest first. Adding 3 to both sides is easiest. So on this one they talk about adding 3 to both sides. Then after we add 3 to both sides, it looks like we multiply 2 by both sides, multiply by 2 to undo the divided by 2. We come up with x equals, and we can do a check. We can plug that x equals 10 here, or x equals 26. 26 divided by 2 is 13, minus 3 is 10. 10 equals 10. We've now proven that that equation's balanced. So go ahead and put these notes in. That'll give you a basis for the problem set we're about to do. Given an equation requiring multiple steps to solve, usually do what is easiest first, like add or subtract. We'll see that as we go through these problems. Vocabulary, opposite operation. You know, the opposite operations are subtraction, division, and root. And therefore, the forward operations would be addition, multiplication, and power. All right, so that's been on prior lessons too, so hopefully that's not new to you. The numerator is the top position in a fraction. The denominator is the lower position in a fraction. The line between it is called a fraction bar. So with that, and those notes in your comp book, these problem sets go in your comp book too. And let's go ahead and demonstrate how to solve them. So this is an equation, negative 30 equals negative 5 times 2x plus 2. Right? That's what they're giving us right here. It's a little bit easier for me to rewrite it before I start it because it's kind of hard to see sometimes. Hard to see right there. There we go. That's better. This is distributive property, so distributive takes the value outside of the parentheses, multiplies it across the values or terms inside the parentheses. So in this case, we're going to leave the left the same. When we're talking about left, we're talking about a center line right down the equals. There's a left side and a right side. Negative 5 times 2x is negative 10x. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. So that now changes what we have here to something more usable. We're then going to subtract, well, it looks like we're going to add 10 to both sides here. Whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other. That keeps an equation balanced. By definition, that's required. Our equals stay in the middle just to help us. Negative 10x is still left on the right, and we have a negative 30 plus 10 is negative 20. So now we divide by negative 10, divide by negative 10. These cancel out. Let's go over here where we can see it. I hope we can see it. So we have an x on the right, because 10 over 10 is 1. Negative over negative, or negative divided by negative is positive, so it's positive. And then we have negative divided by negative is positive, and 20 divided by 10 is 2. So we get x equals 2. You can flip this, right? We can rotate it either way and flip the whole thing. Technically speaking, that equals sign is flipping too. It just doesn't show because it's the same in both directions. If we had an inequality like greater than or less than, we want to make sure and flip that with flipping the setup here. Okay, so x equals 2, we're going to circle that. Keep in mind we can plug this in really quickly. 2 times 2 would be 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 times negative 5 is negative 30. Does negative 30 equal negative 30? Check. So we can do a quick plug in. I don't even have to write anything. I can do that in my mind. If I come up and it doesn't come up right, maybe I need to write it out, but I'll worry about that at that time. So multiple step just means we're doing several steps to solve the equation. We've got 6x divided by 7 minus 5x divided by 7 plus 8 equals 5. Well, so I don't like these denominators of 7. I can multiply this entire thing by 7 over 1, and what that does is create this distribution setup here where this gets multiplied by all the terms in the parentheses, which is the whole thing, 1, 2, 3, 4 terms here. So a 7 ends up being multiplied here. A 7 ends up being multiplied here, a 7 ends up being multiplied here, and a 7 ends up being multiplied here. Well, the 7 over 7 is 1, so that disappears. We're left with just 6x. The 7 over 7 disappears. We're left with just the 5x. I'm sorry I get so messy, but there's a 5x sitting right there. The 7 over 7 disappears, comes down. This is 7 times 8 is 56, so plus 56 is here. And 7 times 5 is 35. Right? Now we have a 6x minus a 5x. Well, that's 1x. So we have an x. Plus 56 equals 35. I'm tempted to subtract the 56 from both sides. All right, let's get rid of this. Let's come over here. So we have an x on the left and equals. And a negative 56 plus 35, right? And if any time you get hung up on this, please don't hesitate just to go and make your life easier. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to say 56, and that is a negative, right? Plus 35 equals negative 21. Negative 21. So don't hesitate to use your technology to help yourself out. X equals negative 21. We can plug it back in. This one's a little bit more complicated, right? And I might just avoid it here. I got the right answer. It's one that matches up. I might just get a little bit lazy and go ahead and do that. At some point, I'm a little bit different than other math teachers. I'm going to tell you to speed things up at some point. You don't always have to do everything to the nth degree, if you ask me. All right, just my opinion, and others are welcome to theirs. So here we have x plus 8 on the top. It is in a parentheses. That just helps me group it. Divided by a negative 10 equals 7. I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 10. Let's put it in a parentheses. It doesn't look like a minus 10, but it's times a minus 10. These disappear because they're 1. We're left with x plus 8 on the left equals negative 70 minus 8, and you get x equals a minus 70 minus another 8 is minus 78. It gets more negative, all right? So x equals negative 78. Here we go. Right, and we could do a negative 78 plus 8 would be negative 70, divided by another negative 10 would be positive 7. So I can check this one easier. So I'll go ahead and do it. All right. 10 equals x over 3 minus 6. What do I do first? I always say do what's easiest first. So I can just add a 6 to both sides. That seems simple to me, right? 16 equals x over 3. Now I can multiply both sides by 3. That's going to cancel these out and get 1. Let's go over here. X now equals, what's 3 times 16? 30 plus 18 is 48. So it looks like x equals 48. I can flip it. Remember, you're flipping the whole sign. That's to prep you for when we have a greater than and less than, when you flip the whole sign. So x equals 48, sure enough. And if I do 48 divided by 3, isn't that 16? Yep, that's 16 minus 6 is 10, so 10 does equal 10. So I can check that one relatively easily. I'll do it. 2 times 3 minus 2x in a parentheses plus 19 equals minus 3. This is distributive here, so multiply across the terms inside the parentheses. 2 times 3 is 6 minus 4x plus 19 equals minus 3. Let's see here. 6 and a 19 looks like 25, so we have 25 minus 4x equals minus 3. Subtract the 25 from both sides. A negative 3 minus another 25 is a negative 28. And a minus 4x here. So let's divide by both sides by minus 4. Gone, gone. Come over here. X equals negative by negative is, negative divided by negative is a positive. 28 divided by 4 is 7. So it looks like x equals 7. That's this one here. And if we could plug it in, let's see, that's a negative there. So negative 14, 2 times 7 is negative 14, plus 3 would be negative 11, times 2 would be negative 22, plus 19 would be negative 3. So negative 3 does equal negative 3. Check. Solve the equation. All right, negative 2 times 2x plus 5 equals a negative 26. Go across these terms. This equals a negative 4x minus 20 equals negative 26. We're going to add 20 to both sides. That seems like the easiest thing to do first. And this would give me a negative 6 over here. So 20 equals negative 4x here. Divide both sides by negative 4. And I've gone wrong somewhere. Let's see. Negative 2 times 2x plus 5 equals negative 26. I multiply. I get negative 4x, and I get a negative 20 and negative 26. If I add 20 to both sides, add 20 here, add 20 here. So, looks like negative 6 here. Divide both sides by negative 4. It's giving me a fraction, probably not what I intended when I wrote it. So 6 over 4 equals 3 over 2. 3 halves. Well, let's circle this one, and I'm going to make it 3 halves, you guys. Okay? So when you get there, it'll be 3 halves. Not sure what went wrong there, but it still works. All right. Let's see about this one. 7 times 2 minus 4x plus 14 equals negative 28. We're going to distribute here. And this is 14 minus 28x plus 14 equals negative 28. Oh, duh. Sorry, guys. I can't do negative 2 times 5 is a negative 10. Let's go over here. Correction. Good. I'm modeling for you what to do when things go wrong. Negative 2 times negative 2x is negative 4x minus 10. I'm sorry, you guys. But it happens. I just get distracted and then I don't concentrate, right? Plus 10 on both sides. There we go. Negative 4x equals negative 16 divided by negative 4 divided by negative 4. X equals positive 4. Oh. Get rid of this and go back to x equals 4. Okay, that's okay. I just did it wrong. Look at I did negative 2 times 5 and I put a negative 20 there. It's literally, I just lose concentration and my brain just starts doing weird things and then I have to go back and check. Interestingly enough, for my brain, and I don't know if your brain works like this, but when I get something wrong like that, it doesn't match up. My brain is down here doing this one, and I'm still thinking about this one, and I'm like, let me just check again. Oh, negative 2 times 5 should be negative 10, not negative 20. So plus 10 on both sides right here, right? So this would be wrong. Get rid of this and go with the solution over here on the right. But I'm modeling for you what to do when things go wrong. We're all human. Things go wrong for all of us, right? Nobody is exempt from that. So let's try to stay concentrating on this one. 2 times 7 is 14. It's a negative here, and the 4 times 7 is 28x plus 14 minus 28. We've got a plus 14 and a plus 14. It looks like I have negative 28x plus 28 equals negative 28. That's interesting. Minus 28 minus 28. And so you get a negative 28x. This disappears. Equals, this is 40, 56. So a minus 56. Let's go over here and say negative 28x equals minus 56. Divide both sides by negative 28. Gone, gone, x equals negative, negative is positive. 56 divided by 28 is 2. So x equals 2. So I'm going to go right here. X equals 2. Okay. Solve the equation. All right. Negative 60 equals 5 times 2x plus 2. Distribute. So 10x plus 10 equals negative 60. Minus 10 minus 10. 10x equals minus 70. Divided by 10, divided by 10. Let's come over here. X equals negative 70 divided by 10 is negative 7. We're going to flip it and say x equals negative 7. Remember, we're flipping the entire equals. It flips also. It just happens to be the same. I'm just prepping you for greater than or less than when they flip. X equals negative 7. Here you go, right? And what I should have done for you would be model up here. If we take the 4, right, 2 times 4 is 8, plus 5 is 13. Times a negative 2 is negative 26. Check. If I had tried that with 3 halves, I would have gotten 6 over 2 plus 5, and it would have been a mess, right? So I would have known I had the wrong answer. And my brain, just to give you an insight into the way I'm thinking, I'll like do things, and then somehow it doesn't sit right with me, and then I'm still thinking about it. And I'll go back to it, right? So let's see, 6 times 4 minus 7x. And I hope that model sits with you okay. Where you're doing math problems, don't be afraid to keep going back to the same problem. Don't be afraid to go, I know something's wrong on this problem. What's wrong? Let me keep investigating, right? That happens all the time in life, you guys, where it's not just math. It's whatever problem your brain is chewing on. Okay, so here we go. So we distributed. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 7 is 42x. There's a negative, so it's here. Minus. 24 and 20 is 44. The negative 42x is here. Plus 44 equals negative 292. Interesting numbers. Minus 44, minus 44 on both sides. Gone. Negative 42x equals. This becomes a larger negative number here. And I'm going to use my calculator because I don't know what negative 292 and 44 is. Let's clear this. So 292 plus 44 equals 336. 336. And if I'm lucky, that divides evenly by a negative 42. Okay, divided by negative 42. Come over here. X is going to equal, because these will cancel, 336 divided by negative 42. And I feel like I'm messing this one up too. I can't concentrate today. Minus, let's see, divided by 42? Nope. Let's see what's wrong here. Negative 292, plus a 20. This is a 4 minus 7x. Do I have that written right? 6 times 4 is 24, I think. 6 times 7 is 42. X minus. So negative 42x plus 44 equals negative 292. Strange. Subtract 44 from both sides. So it becomes a larger negative number. That should be negative. That looks like 336 when I add it up. 42x, 336. And I'm tempted to work backwards. Let's just take minus 7 times 8 is 56 is a minus 56 is minus 52 times 6 is 312 negative plus 20. So 312 minus 20 is 292. The answer to this is 8. I can just check backwards, and you can do that too. 6 times 4 is 24. 42. Okay, let's do the next one. Let's skip it. Let's let our brain chew on it. For whatever reason, I didn't eat my Wheaties this morning or something. Okay, minus 5, minus 5. All right, gone. 15 equals 3x over 2 times 2 on both sides. 3x equals 30, divided by 3, divided by 3, x equals 10. Let's check it. 30 divided by 2 is 15, plus 5 is 20. 20 equals 20, check, check. So remember, you can always work backwards. We don't have to go in the equation solving method. And for whatever reason, my brain can't find the mistake right now. So I can model for you working backwards, right? And I'll go back and remake the video if I find it. Negative 42x. Anyway, I'm going to go for 8 for now. You guys can put this on there. I'll make you a deal. You solve this and send it to me, and I'll give you bonus points. All right, let's do that. All right, make sure you're matching up the title of the video with the problem set you're working on, Algebra 1, Semester 1, and its equations, number 1, and it's the sixth lesson called Multistep Equations, and it's on creatormath.com under the Algebra tab. Hope this helps.